welcome to RC Fun and Games again. I am Ryan, as most of you know, and today we're going to be throwing some new shocks on my trx4m build I did last year. Now, when I ordered this chassis from AliExpress, it came already with axles. It also came with the shocks. It came with quite a few things. You can always go back and go check the video out. I'll put it up here in the upper corner. Now, the actual chassis has worked really well. It's performed really good overall, but these shocks, every once in a while, they get a bit sticky and it's just got a bit too much travel on the two rear axles. So we're going to be fitting some new shocks, and I decided to go for the 59mm shocks for the Traxxas trx4m for the rear axles, and for the front axles I went for the 59 with the brass ends. So let's get these old shocks off, let's get these filled up and get them on the truck so we can take it around the backyard course and see if it performs any better. Okay, so I might as well get started in the back, and I'm going to start by removing the wheels. Okay, so now that I got those shocks off, it's time to get these two out. Let's get them filled up so we can get them installed. Okay, before I get started filling them up, I just want to show you the overall look of these shocks. And until today, they have been performing really well on all my other rigs. So far, I've not had any of them leak oil, and they've been really easy to set up for the rigs. So let's get these disassembled so we can get some oil in them. So as you can see, there's definitely some oil in there. So first I need to get that out before I fill it up. So I'm going to start by emptying the oil. Okay, so now that I've got the majority of the oil out, I'm going to grab some 650 CPS 51WT and I'm going to fill these shocks up. Make sure you move the shaft up and down so you can get any air bubbles that are trapped out. Okay, so this shock can sit over here so long while I strip the next one. Same process, make sure you empty the oil. Now I'm going to fill this one up. Okay, so now that I've got them filled up, I'm just going to leave them on the stand here for a couple of minutes to make sure all those bubbles disappear. Okay, so now that I've waited for all the little micro bubbles in there to disappear, I am going to close them up. So I'm going to push up the shaft halfway. That's about where I want it. And now I'm just going to put my top on. Make sure you hold that shaft in that position. Any excess oil will come out of that little hole on the side of the lid. Okay. Make sure you clean the excess oil so it doesn't gather dust when you're out on trail. And always make sure the bottom one is nicely closed as well. Now I just want to show you why I left the shock shaft only halfway in. Because like that, every time it extends, it'll always want to retract to the middle. And every time you've fully compressed, it will want to go back to its right height. So I like setting them up like that, especially on these rear axles. This is how I want to set up. So I'm going to repeat this on all of them. Okay, so now that I've got them all filled up, it's time to throw the springs back on. And I'm not going to use those soft springs. I'm going to go for something a little bit harder because this rig is quite heavy. So let me get the springs that they provide out of here. Okay, so there's definitely a difference between the two springs. The ones that come on the shock are very soft. These are a little bit harder. Also, I'm going to take off all the preload before I put my springs on. Now we just slide our little collet back on. Make sure your spring is nicely seated around the edge of the collet. And there you are. It's got a really nice action. Now I always get this question, which way is this supposed to go in? Technically, it's supposed to go in like this, because if the rubber breaks, it will prevent the shock coming off. So that is the right way to put them on. Now put another O-ring on the other side to make sure it doesn't fall out. and we are ready to get it assembled back onto the truck. Now I'm going to move on to the front one on this side. Now let's grab one of these 59mm shocks with the brass end. Let's get it taken apart as well so we can get it filled up. And I've got to say that these with the brass end are really nice. Just like the others, it comes with a bit of oil in there, so make sure you empty it. Now once again, I'm just going to leave it standing here for a few minutes to make sure all those little micro bubbles disappear completely. Okay, so now that we've got rid of all the little bubbles in there, it's time to close it back up, and I'm going to repeat the same process as I did last time. I'm just going to push my shaft up halfway up and put my cap on. Now once again I'm going to go into the packet of hardware they provide, and I'm going to take the hardest springs and put them on these shocks. Okay, so now that I've got all this side done, I'm going to repeat the same process on the other side, and I'll be right back once I'm done. Okay, so I'm all done fitting the shocks, and I'm ready to take this thing out on the backyard course and go and give it a test. Let's see how the suspension performs after messing around with it. Of course, before I run away, if you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to smash that like button, use the comment section if there's anything you want to talk about, and of course, subscribe, because it really helps me bring more content like this to all of you. Until the next video, happy trails everyone.